What's up, guys? Ryan from IW Nerd here, and today we have a video on The Undertaker's best matches according to star ratings. The star ratings come from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. We have only included matches from The Undertaker that have received 4.25 stars and above. So let's get into it. Okay, so up first in the 4.25 star tier, we have the Fatal 4-Way main event from the WWF In Your House 13 Final Four event. This was The Undertaker versus Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vader. This was a four corners elimination match for the vacant WWF Championship. This was a match where you could be eliminated by pinfall, you could be eliminated by submission, or you could be eliminated if you went over the top rope with both of your feet hitting the floor. The Undertaker ended up as one of the final two participants, and Meltzer gave this one 4.25 stars. Okay, up next we have the match between Kurt Angle and The Undertaker from the September 4th, 2003 episode of SmackDown. This was for the WWE Heavyweight title at the time. Kurt Angle was the champion. Not going to spoil the match for whoever wants to go back and watch, but it took over 20 minutes and was a solid match that Meltzer gave 4.25 stars. Okay, so up next, we have a match between The Undertaker and Edge from WrestleMania XXIV in 2008. This was for the World Heavyweight Championship and ended up being the main event match of the WrestleMania event. And it was also part of The Undertaker's legendary WrestleMania streak. All right, so up next, we have a match that The Undertaker was involved in at the No Way Out pay-per-view in 2009. This was the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. So it was The Undertaker versus Triple H versus Edge versus Jeff Hardy versus Big Show versus Vladimir Kozlov. This was the first of two Elimination Chamber matches that happened that same pay-per-view. Okay, so rounding out the 4.25 star tier was the match between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in 2015. This was a Hell in a Cell match, and it also was the main event of this pay-per-view. Okay, so now we're moving into matches that have been rated 4.5 stars out of 5 by Meltzer. We're going to start with King of the Ring 1998. This was the legendary match between The Undertaker and Mankind. This was their Hell in a Cell match that has kind of gone on in infamy with kind of The Undertaker throwing Mankind off the cage and kind of them falling through the cage, all the stuff that happened. It's definitely one of the most iconic matches in WWE history, and it was rated 4.5 stars. Okay, so up next we have a match from the Armageddon pay-per-view in 2000. So The Undertaker was in the main event, and he was in another Hell in a Cell match. This was a six-man Hell in a Cell match for the WWF Championship at the time. So it was The Undertaker versus Kurt Angle versus The Rock versus Rikishi versus Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H. And yeah, Meltzer gave it 4.5 stars. Okay, so up next, The Undertaker was involved in a Survivor Series elimination match back in Survivor Series 2001. So this was the main event. It was a winner-takes-all 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. So The Undertaker was on Team WWF. That was with The Rock, Chris Jericho, Kane, and Big Show. And they faced off against the Alliance, which was Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. Yeah, this was a Survivor Series kind of traditional elimination match. All right, so the main event of the Vengeance 2002 pay-per-view was The Undertaker versus The Rock versus Kurt Angle. This was a triple threat match for the WWE Undisputed Championship and was rated 4.5 stars from Meltzer. Okay, so up next we have The Undertaker versus Edge from SummerSlam in 2008. So this was the main event of the pay-per-view, and it was also another Hell in a Cell match. Okay, so up next we have The Undertaker versus Triple H. This was their no-holds-barred match from WrestleMania in 2011. This is the first of two WrestleMania matches between The Undertaker and Triple H, with the other one coming later on this list. Up next, we have The Undertaker versus CM Punk at WrestleMania 29 back in 2013 at MetLife Stadium. This is the final match of The Undertaker's career that was rated 4.5 stars. Okay, so we're going to combine this one. So in 2009 and 2010, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels faced off at two straight WrestleMania events. The first was in 2009. Many fans would say that this is their favorite match of all time. It's the first of the two, and I think a lot of fans really liked it. And some people say it's the best match of all time. Meltzer only gave it a 4.75 star rating, which I think many people would disagree that this was not a 5-star match. And then if we go into next year, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels faced off in the Streak versus the Career match. This was at the WrestleMania event in 2010. This also received 4.75 stars from Meltzer. I think a lot of fans also love this match. I think it was more the drama in terms of Shawn Michaels retiring or the streak ending. I think the first match is a little more highly rated by fans, but there's no denying that both Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker matches are classics, and both of them received 4.75 stars from Meltzer. So I was alluding to this before, but at WrestleMania in 2012, we had The Undertaker facing off against Triple H. This was a Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. I think that a lot of fans remember Shawn, Triple H, and The Undertaker on the stage at the very end of the match, kind of embracing each other and celebrating. This was kind of just year after year, banger after banger match for The Undertaker, and this one received 4.75 stars, and I think there is fans like the last two I just said would argue that this deserved a higher rating. Okay, to finish off this list, the only match of The Undertaker's career to receive 5 stars from Dave Meltzer is his match against Shawn Michaels at the In Your House pay-per-view in 1997. It was In Your House Bad Blood. This was the first ever Hell in a Cell match. It was a Hell in a Cell match that determined the number one contender for the WWF Championship at Survivor Series. As I said, it was the first ever Hell in a Cell match, which is notable in itself. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, we kind of know from their old other matches that they have great chemistry, so that's a recipe for success. And we also had the debut of Kane, who showed up, and with all the kind of storyline drama, so it was just a perfect storm. And yeah, it received 5 stars. This is the only match of The Undertaker's career that received a 5-star rating. As I said, I think that, as I mentioned kind of in previous ones, that there's definitely some that fans would argue deserved a 5-star rating, and I think fans would be surprised that it didn't actually get 5 stars. But again, this is only Dave Meltzer's opinion, not mine. But yeah, so that's the list. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite match of The Undertaker's career is. Let me know if you have any of these matches rated higher or lower, if you think any of them should have been on the list. Let me know in the comments. And please subscribe to support us. We're going to be doing more of these, and with the more subscriptions, it helps us. And yeah, thanks for watching.